I wanted to talk about this specifically about the SuperGirl apparently that just happened just recently, the whole SuperGirl movie. Apparently it was like a complete total flop and everything. Like it didn't do very well, it didn't sell very well whatsoever, and it just completely like completely went down the went down the shitter or so with this one. But I want to take a look at it to see what's been happening. Like I said, I haven't watched movies or anything like that. I stopped watching movies a long time ago. I just didn't keep up with it whatsoever. I'm just kind of like zoned out, kind of like tapped out on movies, just because they don't really interest me that much. So, wonder what's been happening here, anyways.
SuperGirl will be a historically awful flop, looking at a 9-figure loss for DC Comics. And regardless of how well or horribly received the movie actually is, it was doomed before opening day.
There's been a lot of discussion online about Kara's queerness in the comics. Was that something that you explored when you were preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions, I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all. If anything.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's great.
She'd probably go both ways.
Why can they not make an actual good movie now these days? You know? I don't understand why there's this like weird rhetorics or so like behind these movies. I don't know, man. This is just weird personally.
In the world do we even need to speculate who she would date, especially when the source material already has an answer? It's just more woke nonsense being shoehorned into established lore since a small population online refuses to support anything they're not overwhelmingly represented in. Not to mention, this isn't the first time woke actors revise source material from a traditional love story into more feminist nonsense.
I can't. Okay, so you're telling me. Okay, so this blonde girl who played Supergirl did the same thing. Actually, did the same thing what the girl from the actress of Snow White did. Ah, dude, I can't. Why are we hiring these kinds of people again? Like, what is the point of hiring these people? Like, honestly.
What makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all.
And we absolutely.
But why? Like, I get it. It's supposed to be Supergirl, right? It's supposed to be about Supergirl in general. But I'm like, I assume there would be a love interest because Decoy just literally popped up a top 10 list of the top 10 boyfriends that Supergirl dated or something like that, or whatnot. So, Californians. This is just weird. I don't like any of this personally. I don't know.
He wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
As originally, that backlash looked like it was going to also result in a 9-figure loss for Disney. But actually, it was much worse. Looking at a $170 million loss, not even including any marketing costs, that could easily double this loss. As SuperGirl is looking at a similar situation, opening at $38 million, the lowest start for a DC title.
And this is the only reason why, like, that Marvel is just doing better than DC, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, right? Marvel is not doing very well, but let's be honest here. Between Marvel and DC ain't doing so well, I'm gonna be honest with you.
After costing over $180 million. I'm no math Asian, but 38 seems a bit smaller than 180 million, as I wouldn't be surprised if the same situation also resulted in another 9-figure loss, which at this point, I refuse to believe they're accidentally doing this. We really should check if these studio heads aren't betting against their own stock price and just cashing in millions off their shorted stocks. As Supergirl's lead immediately clashed against the comic book fans, stating, simply existing as a woman in that space is commented on. They're comfortable with this weird ownership of women's bodies. This is how it's always been for women, but it's from online anonymous accounts, or someone who describes themselves as a dad of 4 or Christian, which is hilarious to her, inferring she doesn't care about their opinion, thinking if you're pissing the right kind of people off, you're doing okay.
why do you think pissing off the audiences, the core audiences of comic book people are guys? Like, why do you think that's okay to piss them off? They're literally the people who want to see these like kinds of characters that are in comic books become like the live action version of them from the comic book era. I just don't understand this. Like, I really don't. I'm just like so confused of like why. I'm like, can we stop this? Can we stop pissing off like the actual core fan base? Because they're the ones who literally are going to bring in the money, you know? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. Hey, hell, man. I'm not into the whole superhero stuff, like the whole superhero like stuff in general. But even I can probably make a better movie than whoever wrote this movie.
Meaning she doesn't want the approval of Christians, parents, or God forbid, Christian parents, and seems pretty pleased with the idea that they would criticize her. And maybe this would be a winning strategy if your movie was debuting in Gaza, but as long as you're trying to target American audiences and comic book fans, you're probably not gonna want to alienate any parents that would be paying for said movie tickets. But again, they don't see playing a comic book character as entertainment. It's just another soapbox to parrot their liberal talking points. But after all this, I don't even blame the actresses for being insufferable activists. I blame the adults in charge for their questionable casting choices in American superheroes. This is the equivalency of me starting a Christian rock band and asking Doja Cat to be our lead singer, getting that kids creator that somehow also turned out to be a hyper-left activist to get on guitar, then having Ilhan Omar on bass, and then Ben can be on drums. I said this as a joke, but I would actually listen to the Daily Choir Fire. But the difference is, streaming a Trainwreck song for 20 seconds isn't quite the same as dedicating 4 hours and $100 to see a movie supporting the stars that despise you. As originally, I really enjoyed her portrayal of Rhaenyra in House of the Dragon, where in the beginning, she seemed aware of her intellectual irrelevance.
What's been the most surprising thing is that people care what I have to say.
We really care.
Don't care. There's nothing going on up
love
here.
you. No, we have
Oh,
to
thank
know.
you.
And I don't see this as her playing blonde bimbo. It's more of having the self-awareness that sudden stardom doesn't automatically make your opinions any more valid or intelligent. If anything, being an entertainer means you should be doing everything you can to leave your values in secrecy, as you want to entertain everybody, not only the audience that shares all your political, religious, and orientations. Where Tom Cruise should be the most controversial and divisive star, but since he doesn't jam Scientology into his movies, he still makes millions. But no, not even Game of Thrones is safe.
Do you think Rhaenyra and Alicent were the original heated rivalry?
Ooh, that is a take. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Emily always talked about it. We were like, something is going on.
No, like, there's
something is going on.
There's sad.
I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I'm gonna be honest with you. Hey, wait. Is Game of Thrones still going? I thought that shit ended a long time ago.
In the Red Keep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
sapphic smells in here.
Yeah.
As this is an allusion to a hockey show featuring two rival dudes that want to do each other. But now it needs to be shoehorned into everything, as even aside from her speculation on a talk show in the next season of Game of Thrones that she isn't in, Hollywood again shoehorned in a lesbian scene because reasons. Completely forgetting the context of the Asian girl's character, trauma dumping how she gets used by powerful men, her horrible experience as a S-worker, and all of her regrets. The queen hears this and immediately makes a move on her, again repeating the cycle of people in power, briefly using her and moving on. It's supposed to be a romantic moment, but it's a short-sighted swipe at wokeness. But
this is the reason why I don't watch any TV shows either too as well. I have not I'm trying to remember when was the last time I watched like TV shows, like actual TV shows. That's a good question. I don't really know, to be honest. That's how long it has been.
not worse than how this prequel show had King's Landing looking incredibly diverse,
I thought
with
this was...
equal representation of the globe, forgetting how the
Wait, I thought Game of Thrones was already done though. Wasn't it done? I thought they did the final season or something. They're still doing this still? They're doing more of this? I thought this shit was done. I thought they finished this already a long time ago. And then people told me that the ending just wasn't really good for Games of Thrones. That's what people told me about it.
Original Game of Thrones portrayed it, white, like the UK, which it's based off of, which infers, canonically, between the fall of the kingdom and the rebuilding before Game of Thrones, there was an ethnic cleansing. But worse, the literal second foreign forces of diversity returned to King's Landing, it was immediately burned to the ground again. And I don't think Game of Thrones is secretly pushing MAGA-based border policies. I just think they're short-sighted woke idiots. And I admit, this makes me a bit of a nerd, but this TISM level of noticing is built in with a comic book audience. But when they try to combine celebrity virtue signaling with superheroes, not only do they alienate their target audience to the tune of $100 million, their brand of woke ideologies will always eventually lose their new woke audience. Even with far-left politicians that live their entire careers in service of these stances, all eventually get cancelled themselves.
You gotta get the out my hood, bro. It's free Palestine here. You already know what it is.
Oh, so you're telling me that this, I don't know who this person is, but you're telling me that this politician here supported the whole, that side of the far extremist, and now he's getting canceled by them? That's pretty funny. That's kind of very ironic in my personal opinion. What, did he disagree on something like that triggered all of them or something like that?
We against the genocide. You think you gonna come to my neighborhood, bro? You up. You up. It's gonna be a problem.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues and your legislation specifically protecting queers on offender registry is fantastic. And I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible. I think you do not belong here. You do not belong here.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking funny to see. I'm not gonna lie, you know. Hey man, that's what you kind of get in my personal opinion. If this is what you're trying to accumulate, you know, hey, there's your fan base right there, bro. What's wrong, bro? Don't you like your fan base? I hope it's all worth it, is all I gotta say, you know?
You do not belong here, Scott, anymore. It's
as Millie can literally say everything to validate her leftist audience, but eventually there's always going to be something we disagree on, and the only thing more impossible than making a profit with woke actors is passing the left's always evolving purity tests. So if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription and you'll subscribe to Decoy.
I like your outro, to be honest. Anyways, speaking of which, yeah, I'm like, it is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, to be honest. It is pretty hilarious in general, you know? And it's just kind of like, well, what do you expect at the end of the day? You know, you get what you deserve. So anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. It's kind of funny seeing, like, now they actually get to witness, like, the things that they've been trying to fight for is not the actual right thing to do. But hey, it is what it is. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace.